Hey everyone, my name's HarryAtomic, and this week we're going to talk about game demos. So anybody that's played games for longer than about 10 years would probably remember the idea of demos having their own release dates, getting really excited for a demo to come out so that you can try a game before its release. Now there's probably a lot of factors that are attributed to the fact that demos were so popular years ago. Probably the fact that the internet wasn't such a big deal, so downloading large files or even uploading large videos that properly show off a game wasn't really that possible back then. However, it seems that even though the technology of the internet has moved on, the idea of the game demo has kind of died off a bit for the most part. I think the last demo I played was the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo, and I was really surprised that that thing got a demo. Anyways, let's roll the intro and get straight into the video. So just a reminder before we get started, I stream every Tuesday and Saturday on Twitch with a special one tomorrow. If you're watching this video on the day it was uploaded, there's an Xbox on stream tomorrow. We're going to watch it. It's going to be awesome. We're going to get some Series X reveals. It's gonna be so good. So make sure to follow all the links down in the description and drop me a follow on Twitch. And also just a reminder to get subscribed to me here on YouTube if you haven't already. So let's get on to the Community Day video. For those that don't know, Community Day is a video that I do every single Wednesday where I post a poll at the start of the week. We talk about something to do with Xbox, games, whatever, and then we poll all the results and make a video on it on Wednesday so that we can see exactly what the community thinks. And this week, as I said, we're talking about game demos. So in this week's poll, I asked, have you or do you play game demos? Also, do you think they should be available more often? And to say this poll was split is a bit of an understatement. Now normally I post a poll with an idea of what I think is gonna win, and sometimes I've been surprised and sometimes I've been right about what I think people are gonna say, but this time I had no idea that this would be so decisive. Some people love the idea of demos, some people wish demos would come back, some people hate demos. I mean, the overall winner was people saying that they used to play demos but now they watch trailers, with the option of when available I use game demos to see which games to buy just coming in a close second. It's still so close that it's kind of hard to call. So as always, let's dive down into the comments and see exactly what you guys had to say. So the first comment this week comes from Advitech, who said, demos are cool and they have a good use, but too many games don't have one. I can't remember the last time I played a demo because of their shortage on Xbox One. So this goes back to exactly what I was saying there in the intro about demos just not really being as prevalent nowadays. I used to love sitting down whenever I was at college. Money was a bit tighter and I had to be really careful about what games that I bought, even if I was buying second hand. So I always wanted to go in and browse the Xbox Live Marketplace and download as many Xbox 360 game demos as I could. There were even some games like Left 4 Dead that had release dates for their demo, and I played that to death with my friends. I couldn't get enough and I was salivating for that game coming out. But also it allowed me to make some really good choices on pre-owned games as well. So even though the demos are kind of used as a selling tool for a new game coming out, it had a secondary use of being really useful for me to pick up a game after its release, so I could bundle both the reviews with the actual demo itself and make a really informed decision as to whether or not I want to buy the full game. But it is true, I mean, demos are just kind of going away, and it's really strange because there's nothing like getting a product in your hands and trying it out. It's kind of like the way that you go into like the Apple store and Apple have everything laid out so that you can go up. They want you to touch the computers, they want you to touch the phones and things because then you create a connection with the device or whatever it is, and then you're more likely to buy it then based on that. And that's the exact same reason why demos were so important. You could sit down for an hour on the sofa and you could just boot up a demo, you could try out a game, see if you liked it or not. It was absolutely of no cost to you whatsoever, so you had nothing to lose but just a little bit of time, and you could potentially find something that you might really have enjoyed, even something that you might not even have expected that you would have liked. But I agree, the fact that they're going away this generation really is making me worried about the availability of demos for Series X games. Guess we'll just have to wait and see. Anyways, moving on to the next comment. So the next comment is from Jenny H, who said, game demos are the reason I've purchased many games. Usually the 1 or 2 levels included make or break a game for me. I wish more games had them, but I understand that the time it takes to make a demo may not be worth it for the developers, especially for established franchises. The only thing I don't understand is when games have kiosk demos that aren't available on console. This really confused me whenever I read read your comment because I completely forgot all about kiosk demos. The fact that some games have demos that you can walk into a store, see like the Xbox One display or the PlayStation display, and go over and actually play a demo of a game on that console, and then not to just have that demo available for download, like that really struck me as odd. And I do agree that developers do have a lot of work to do, especially now the game projects are so huge compared to years ago, that as a customer, I think I would rather have the developers have an easier time of developing a game rather than spending extra pressure or extra time making a demo for a game that they have to finish anyway. But I completely agree about the fact that you said that you've purchased some games based on their demo. Like, there have been games that I've downloaded that I thought, I'm gonna love this, I'm so hyped for the release, I can't wait, oh yes, there's a demo, I'm just gonna get stuck on, and then I've just completely hated it. And there's been other games that I've been like, oh, I'm really bored, I don't know what to play, I'll just download a demo, it'll be done in like 45 minutes, and I end up loving the game. I'm like, wow, I never thought that this would be something that would really resonate with me. So it kind of allows you to fine tune your tastes as well. I suppose that's another thing. But yeah, give us the kiosk demos. They're there anyway. Just let me download them. So anyways, on to the next comment. Tommy Reynolds said, I do remember back in the early days of PC gaming when you would have a demo disc in PC Gamer magazine. It was needed because gameplay and review videos were not available. I still have all the original Xbox monthly demo discs as well. Once I read your comment, I had a wee laugh to myself because the day that I read your comment, a parcel arrived at the door where I got a whole bunch of Xbox demo discs. So this is about half of them. It's pretty much just a load of Xbox magazine demos because I was gonna make like a full video on them. I'm still have to trawl through them and see, but ultimately the contents of these things kind of shows the direction that they were going for. I mean, yes, this is a way of getting demos into people's hands without them having to download it, but at the same time I felt these were really useful for people that didn't have internet, because as you say, there wasn't as many trailers were usually large video files, it was hard to upload over like slow internet, it was even longer to download over slow internet, and so having something that you could go into a shop, buy a magazine, read about new games that are going to come out, then you could get your hands on a demo, it would make a magazine like a product in itself that you could enjoy for like a whole day. Like you could buy a magazine during the day and you could like read the magazine whenever you got home and then pop the disc in and then spend all night then playing all the new demos, and maybe it has exclusive content, like these have exclusive gamer picks on them for anybody that loves gamer picks. But also sometimes they have demos of unreleased games which are kind of weird to play a game that got so far into development that I got a demo but not far enough that it got released. But I agree, your comment actually got me thinking as well. One thing that I would really like is imagine that you had like a free subscription service that you could go into on your Xbox and you could say like, you know, Xbox Demo Pass or something, and you could go on and like subscribe to that, and then every week it would allow you to download like, or it would automatically download like a little game or something, and you would go into it and within that game there would be a bunch of demos and a bunch of trailers and a bunch of reviews and blah blah, and it's like a magazine in an app on your Xbox that you would get like downloads of each week. Like that would be really cool. Basically, I think just you mentioning demo discs just got me thinking about like how cool it was to actually have like a package of demos and how cool it would be to kind of bring that back in some way. Although it's never gonna happen, let's face it, but still something cool to think about. So the next comment comes from Jake Watling, who said, if the game has already released, I'd be more inclined to watch reviews and gameplay. I find demos to be quite limited. Do you remember the Minecraft demo? And that a better decision can be made from someone who owns the game. I kind of agree and disagree with you here. I definitely agree saying that a better review can come from a person who owns the game, but the problem is that reviews are always going to be subjective, and I think that this is the problem these days with trailers and reviews. Yes, there are reviewers that people trust, and there are some reviewers that I really like that are like 99% attuned to the games that I like, and so I really trust what they say, but every so often there's kind of one stinker that kind of slips through the net, and then, you know, I'm left with a game that I bought brand new on day one that I just don't like. So ultimately, I just think that a demo has some value in the fact that you're getting hands-on content beforehand. It's kind of the same way that like if you watch a 20-minute gameplay reveal, which these days is just a guided demo, which again is kind of disingenuous in and of itself, but having a demo that you can sit down and play for half an hour is kind of a review that you write yourself. If you think about it in those terms, I think that that makes demos more appealing. Now, the other way that a lot of people make decisions on games is that they borrow them from their friends, play them for a while, and then decide whether or not they like them, and that's kind of what demos are as well. You're kind of just getting a part of the game, trying it, and then you're making a decision as to whether or not you like it. I think my main takeaway from reading your comment is that reviews and gameplays are still important though, and that having reviews, gameplays, and potentially something that people can play themselves kind of gives everyone like an a la carte way of making a purchasing decision, and I think that that's just gonna be the best for all customers really. But anyways, let's move on to the final comment. That's right, we're doing 5 this time around because this was such a juicy topic. So the last comment comes from Matthew Hines, who said, I haven't ever really played a game demo before, just because you're not getting the full experience of the game. You're only getting a small portion of it, and when I play a game I prefer to have the full experience and play it until the end. This kind of goes back to what I was saying before about game demos being a small part of the game and that being like the point of a demo. Having the full game means that you've either A, already made the purchasing decision, or B, you don't have to because you've got the length of the game off someone. But ultimately, if you haven't got a lot of money, or you're trying to kind of make smarter purchasing decisions, maybe your collection's just getting too big and you want to kind of curate some games rather than collect. I kind of do agree with what you're saying though, in that there's always this like looming kind of cloud over your head when you're playing a demo that it's going to end at any point. I think the only demo that I really got behind in terms of a full experience was the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo that was released maybe a month or so ago, where you got to play through everything up until the first boss, and it was very clear about what you were going to play, and it was long enough that it was a long session. Like, I think I streamed like the whole thing because it was long enough to actually do a live stream on. And as well as that, there was also the Left 4 Dead demo, which released like I think it was in 2011 or something, and it was 2 levels of a campaign, but it had online play enabled, so it became like this small sort of like online scene for a while up to the game's release. And since it was an arcade based game anyway, there was no like progress that you had to carry across. So I agree with what you're saying. Some people don't like sitting down and playing demos, and some people would just rather have the full game. So I think that one of the takeaways from that though, if demos were to become a thing, is that demos need to be engineered in such a way that they are their own experiences as well, and that you don't feel like you're just getting cut off right at the point where you're starting to get on it. So that's all the comments for this week. Thank you so much to everybody who commented and everybody who voted. I love doing community day videos. I love reading what everybody has to say. I love it whenever we agree, we disagree, we have chats in Discord about it. It's just loads of fun, and I absolutely love doing this. So anyways, on to my thoughts on game demos. As I've kind of alluded to throughout this entire video, I love game demos. There's something about sitting down and playing a wee part of a game and having like a whole night of playing tons of different games. I don't know, it was kind of like its own experience for me in a way. There is something to be said for sitting down and, you know, getting some snacks and popping a new game on and sitting and playing the full game through. However, back whenever I was in university, or maybe even a wee bit younger, I didn't have a lot of money. I had to be very smart about buying games, and so downloading a whole load of demos and coming home and playing them would give me a full night's entertainment pretty much for free. And from that entertainment, I could then go and buy games based on what I had played, and I knew that whenever I was spending like the little money that I had set aside for games, that I was making a smart decision, and that I wasn't going to be worried that I was spending like a lot of money on a game that I wasn't gonna like. Now, as I also mentioned throughout this, there were some game demos that I really enjoyed in and of themselves, and if those games never came out, those demos would still have been loads of fun. However, the idea of getting a demo in your hand, I think, is something that is definitely dying off in favor of pre-recorded or guided media. I don't want to speculate on whether or not that like it's for nefarious reasons, or whether or not that people think that demos will lose them money because of like lowering quality, or whether or not that people just don't like producing demos because it takes away from development time. I don't know the reasons. I'm sure it's different for each studio, so it's probably too broad of a stroke to like tar everyone with the same brush. But at the same time, I still think it's kind of sad that demos are going away, and I would love to see some kind of service that would bring demos back so that people could sit down and play games all night, like loads of different games or whatever, and just have like a really massive wide demo night experience like we used to do. So anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you liked it, then please hit the like button down below and consider getting subscribing if you want to see more videos like this. As well as videos like this, I also do some gameplay videos. We also do some news about like new releases from Xbox. We do some achievement guides. We just pretty much cover everything Xbox and some wider gaming topics here on the channel, and we have loads of fun doing so. We have a Discord as well. All the links are down in the description, and as I said at the start of this video, I stream every Tuesday and Saturday on Twitch, so if you want to pop on, chat to me about anything to do with game demos or just anything in general, then make sure to follow all the links down below and drop me a follow. Anyways, once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.